Phone Truths is brought to you by Sky Mobile, and it's mobile you can expect more from. So are you tired of paying for more and getting less? Well, y'all know more, because in a world of less, Sky Mobile is here and you really can expect more from them. You really, really can. So you can actually pay a lot less, because with Sky Mobile, you get all of your data, texts and calls for just €15 a month for life. It's all the Instagram you can scroll, all the friends you can WhatsApp, and all the family who listen to you, all just for €15 a month. So don't settle for less. Expect more with Sky Mobile. Hello friends and welcome to Phone Truths. This is the podcast where we take a look into the lives of our guests through the prism of their mobile phone. So today's guest is one of the OGs when it comes to social media stars here in Ireland. Also, she is a best-selling author and someone who's built an incredible business empire around her. Today's guest is the amazing Pippa O'Connor. Pippa, you are so welcome to Phone Truths. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for asking me.
Well, look, I'm going to get straight into it, okay? And I want to know, how big a role does your phone play in your life, both personally and professionally?
I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, my phone is an 11, if I'm honest.
Okay.
Like most people, probably.
Yeah.
But I think even more so in like our industry, the phone is everything with what I do. It's always in my hand. Actually, it's not in my hand right now, but it's constantly in my hand.
Yeah.
It's a massive part of what I do, I suppose, professionally. So I always have my phone.
I'm interested in terms of like when you first started out your career, when it came to modelling and that part of your career, like the phone, you've gone through this weird transition where the phone's importance has started to skyrocket.
Oh, totally.
So when you first started off,
because we weren't doing social media or relying on the phone to build a brand. You know, when I first started my career, it was, okay, I was relying on the phone to ring to give me a job, but that was kind of it.
yes.
Didn't have that much of an importance.
Did you recognise that there was a moment, or was it something that just happened over a few years and all of a sudden you realised, oh wow, the phone is now a huge part of my job?
I suppose when I kind of stopped the modelling and kind of went out fully on my own, as in didn't have an agent anymore, wasn't, relying on someone to give me work. When I first kind of ventured out doing that, and it was like online showing my outfits and linking them and getting affiliate links, and that's how I started to earn money at the beginning. So that was all down to the phone. I did everything on my phone. I'd no professional camera. I'd no one taking the pictures for me. That was literally me in the mirror or asking my husband to take the photo of me and linking my clothes through my phone.
Okay.
Actually, a funny story about my phone that has just come to me. My sister and my husband, who both work with me, still laugh because I have like my laptop, my iPad, my whatever in the office. I will only use my phone.
Okay.
I don't know. I just do everything on my phone. So they slag me to this day and say, you wrote your first book on your phone. So
no,
I literally did. Yeah. So every single word was written by me on my phone. So I would type in my notes page after page and put the chapters together, send it to the editor. And yeah, the book was created on my phone.
I'm sure there's opticians at the moment like twitching at the thoughts of that.
And they still slag me, and I'm like, it was #1 bestseller, guys.
Wow.
And I wrote it on my phone.
Power of what you have in your pocket. Like
I
you
know.
wrote a best-selling book on your phone.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Do you use it from a professional point of view? Is it a big source of inspiration?
Oh, totally. Here, there and everywhere. I have loads of different folders in my phone. It's like fashion inspo, real inspo, beauty inspo, lighting inspo. Now, if I showed it to you, you'd probably, like, your brain would want to explode. I've about, I don't know how many emails I have unopened. Like, I cleared them recently, but maybe, not too bad at the moment, 1,380. That's usually around 20,000.
Thank God. I'm actually so reassured to hear that, because
I'm a creative mess, is what I like to say.
I don't know about you. I've started getting a load of content served up to me where it's about ADHD. I'm convinced I'm undiagnosed with ADHD.
Well, I diagnosed myself with that last week. I did.
I genuinely think most of us who are creative probably have a little bit of it.
I was sitting in a meeting, there's about 10 of us last week, and I just blurted out, I said, guys, I can't concentrate. I actually think I have ADHD. And they were like, why? I said, I can't finish one task.
Yeah.
And I will not start it until it is the last second and until the pressure's on me. And I'll get it done.
Yeah.
But I will not be organised. Nothing is prepared. Nothing is organised. The phone is about to blow up with unanswered emails, notifications everywhere. And then with tasks, work-wise, it's just, I feel quite calm externally. And then underneath it all, I'm like, yeah, I've so much to do, so I'm not going to do any of it.
Yeah. This is like a therapy session. I'm so glad I'm hearing this because this is like...
Are you like that?
Oh my God, this is like looking in a mirror. I am... And then my wife she's the total opposite end of the
Is she
spectrum.
organised?
Oh my God, she's incredibly organised.
Okay.
And loves...
I'd love to be like that.
Loves organisation. I'm the same, but it's sometimes hard then to explain.
So did she do all the planning?
Oh, she does all the,
Okay.
like, as in, honest to God, my life would not function. Our family would not function without
Yeah,
Ash.
okay.
And like, she genuinely, it just happens.
Yeah.
And I sometimes take it for granted that it just happens.
I know.
Because I'm
know.
too busy thinking, oh, this could be a great idea for a video. You know what I mean? It's mad. What's Brian like? Would he be organised?
Is probably more organised. He would be more organised. Yeah, we're quite different. Brian, if something needs to be done, he will do it there and then. If you want something done, you ring Brian, he will get it done. He's a very action man.
Brilliant.
So that probably makes me even more relaxed.
Yes.
Because I'm like, oh no, Brian has that sorted.
Yes.
It'll get done.
Yeah.
Like business wise and work wise, I know he will have it covered if something needs to get done. But then at home, it's like organised chaos. Like he wouldn't have a clue about like the kids' clothes or, you know, that kind of stuff. The place might be a mess, but I'll know where everything is.
Okay. Yes.
You know, I'll organise that end of things.
Yeah.
But my stuff, oh my God, if you walked into my room, there's clothes everywhere, there's makeup everywhere, but I know where everything is.
Yeah.
And then one day I will go, oh no, this is giving me complete anxiety and palpitations, and I'll clean it all and that'll be great. And then it's just a cycle. I just go back into the mess.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's just my life.
I'm diagnosing both of us with ADHD now. Because we definitely do. Speaking of home life there then, would your phone be a big part of home life, trying to juggle?
Totally. And I try and be better. I say this every few months to myself and to Brian. I'm going to be better with my phone. When I come in from work, I'm going to put the phone away and really try and concentrate on making the dinner or sitting down with the kids. And it's very hard to stick to. Like, you know, I can preach to myself all I like internally, but it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, there's always something happening. I'll have an idea and I'm on to someone at work and I'm sending them voice notes and they're sending me voice notes back and I'm making the dinner and typing at the same time. There's no point in saying that I have this amazing work-life balance and I put the phone away. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lie.
I know we're really now going down the line here, but like, because your business is a very family-run business.
Yeah,
have you ever thought
totally.
about, would you like the kids to be part of it down the line, or have you ever even gone there?
But it's funny. Ollie, who's 11, says to me now, he's like, will you help me with my brand? And I'm like, what's your brand, Ollie? He says, oh, I want to have like, what does he call it? Like a lifestyle brand. I'm like, I won't tell you his name because that wouldn't be fair yet.
Yeah.
And so only a few months ago, he's like, will you buy the website for me? And I really want to think about what I'm going to have
Brilliant.
on this site. And he's really like thinking it out and presented myself and Brian with this like business model and how much it would cost him to buy certain things and how much he thinks he could sell them for. And he's like, I think I'd be able to build the website myself. So I love all that creative side of things. So I definitely encourage that entrepreneurial part of someone. I think that's amazing to nurture that and say to them, yeah, absolutely, of course you can. I always say to my kids, you can do what you want.
Yeah.
Like there's no limit to what you can do, and if your creative side, absolutely go for it. So we're at that stage with him where he's definitely looking at us and watching, and he's really interested in the online side of things, and he'll always ask me questions. How does it work online? And where's the fulfillment centre? And, you know, he's always asking questions and where things are manufactured. And he's like, can I come to Italy with you the next time? And so
Wow.
I love to see that he's interested.
Yeah.
And I know that he's like super proud and is always like telling his friends, and he's like, my mum and dad have this really cool online business.
Wow.
Or like if we're at the school, he'll say, Mom, she's wearing a Poco jumper. I'm like, that's so cute that you even notice.
That's great.
So who knows?
Yeah.
To answer your question, will they follow in our footsteps? Probably not.
Yeah.
But it's cute now at this age that they show an interest.
Now, I'd actually love to go back a few years to talk more about, like, let's get into the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
So first of all, I want to know, what was your first phone? Can you remember?
I can. It was the Nokia, I'm going to say 8310. Yeah, I'm nearly sure that that's what it was.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I don't know if you could send a text straight away on that, could you? Anyway, I remember when you could send a text. I remember texting my friend being like, how cool is this that we can send a message to each other? It was just like mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then don't get me started on ringtones.
Oh, ringtones. I remember trading ringtones with people.
Yes. Buying ringtones. Like what? Now if someone's phone rang, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? Do you have a ringtone on your phone? It's so weird. My phone doesn't even vibrate.
Yeah.
Brian's like, how do you know if your phone's ringing? I'm like, I don't, obviously.
That's kind of good though. I feel like that's a nice, healthy boundary.
I have no notifications on my phone, and I have no ringtone and no vibrate.
So you only go to it when you're ready to go to it.
No, my phone's always in my hand.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I will absolutely, it's like, sorry, I missed your call. I absolutely didn't miss your call. It was in my hand.
I just wasn't ready to answer.
I wasn't ready to speak.
Okay.
So,
you may have just answered that, but can you remember the first text you ever sent?
yeah, that was definitely to my friend saying, I remember standing at a bus stop and getting on a bus and messaged her saying, this is so cool that we can send each other a text.
Okay.
That was a really big deal.
Yeah.
So I do remember that time. I don't know what year that was. What year was that?
The early
how old are you?
2034.
You're a little bit younger than me.
So I'm trying to
I've
think.
just turned 40.
Okay. We're not that far off each other then.
Well, kind of are, Carl.
Yeah, I'm doing the whole thing of like, oh no, I'm not young anymore.
Yeah, no,
you know.
you are. Very much so.
Okay.
You're meant to say, so are you, Pippa?
Yeah, look at me.
You're like, yeah,
Next
okay,
question.
thank you. 40, absolutely are.
Absolutely. You absolutely do. You don't look a day over 30.
Oh, thanks.
Did your phone ever get you into any trouble over the years?
Oh, yeah, like school. Oh, my God. Yeah, very bold with phones. Whenever you weren't supposed to have a phone, I had a phone.
Okay.
What other trouble apart from school? Oh, I've sent like messages to
Now we're talking. Oh, God.
This is so bad.
Let's go. Let's
No.
go.
I sent a voice note to someone that I was giving out about before. And I actually need to take my jacket off. I feel like I'm sweating.
No.
Did you ever do that?
I don't know if I ever sent a voice note. I sent a text by
I've
accident.
sent a voice note to someone while I was giving out about that person.
Oh, good God.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then
no.
you can imagine trying to dig a hole. Dig your hole. Dig a hole back out of that.
Oh, no.
It's like the worst thing.
Oh, yeah, I was only joking. Ha ha, got you.
Actually wasn't talking about you. I was actually talking about my sister.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's the worst. We've all done it.
Did it get sorted out in the end?
Yeah. Like, ish, but there's nothing worse.
Oh,
Very,
God,
very bad.
Yeah.
Have I sent a text? Yeah, probably a long time ago, but it mustn't have been that bad because it's not etched in my brain as much as sending the voice note to someone.
And then when you say when you're in school getting in trouble, was it just a case of, texting during class?
Yeah, or, not turning the phone on silent and the phone ringing. I remember it being confiscated loads of times. And
Okay.
I was someone that was like creative and I loved arts and drama and putting on makeup, and I was always not really interested in, the geography and the maths class.
Yeah.
I should have been more interested in the maths class. It would have served me well today in business. Yeah, I definitely wasn't studious.
Yeah.
But it's so different now, isn't it? It's like everything is encouraged now. So no matter what you're into, it's encouraged, which is great.
Well, I've heard you say that before, where if you would never do something like that's just around making money, you have to love it.
Well, I think life is so busy. Like even just my home life is so mad that if I was doing something work-wise just to make money, I don't think I'd physically be able to give it my all. It just wouldn't sit with me.
Yeah.
And because, like I said earlier, I'm so obsessed with everything I do, I think that's the only way it would work for me personally.
Yeah.
I have to be so in love with it and doing it 24/7. Like I still have such a young brand. My makeup brand is only a year old next month.
Yeah.
And if I wasn't so into it and working on it 24/7, no work-life balance with that at the moment, by the way.
Okay.
Because it's still so new and it's like, you have to be on it all the time.
I'd be interested to know, does that get frustrating in terms of, I find when it comes to social media in particular, and that's most people's insight into our lives now. So when it comes to you and your brand or your family life or whatever, people might see a 30-second clip and it's like it nearly makes you think that
What you see is
the amount of time that goes into it isn't a huge amount of time. Whereas people probably don't get an insight into like the work and the dedication that goes into setting up a brand.
Totally. Well, I suppose when I see other people do it and do such a great job of it, you don't even have to look outside of Ireland to see how well people are doing with their brands. I've such admiration for that because I know the work that goes into it and how long it takes, and even getting a product to life and onto a shelf, what that actually entails.
Yeah.
So it's so much work.
Can the phone sometimes become a bit detrimental by constantly having something that you can compare yourself to someone else with?
Yeah, I suppose the phone can be a big distraction work-wise, and because, you know, I'm following people that I admire or other brands that might be similar, and you might see someone do something, you're like, oh God, I haven't done that yet, or, you know, so yeah, I think it's normal to look at other people and go, I'm not doing enough. Whether you're a stay-at-home mother or trying to build a brand, we're all comparing. And I need to check myself sometimes and go, you know, you are exactly where you're meant to be.
Yeah.
Chill. It'll all happen. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
So I think no matter where you are in your life or what you're doing, I think you have to kind of remind yourself that comparison really is the thief of joy.
It is so true. It really, really
Yeah.
is. Well, then let's go back onto the subject of joy. I'd love to go through your highlights reel. I'd love to know, are there any moments on your phone that you've captured that you love going back to look at?
Oh, I think because Billy is turning 3 soon, I'm probably thinking this time of year like reminds me of me about to pop and him being born. So yeah, I love looking back at like the day and the week he was born and bringing him back from the hospital and I have the 2 older boys' reaction of seeing him for the first time, and they didn't come in. No, they didn't come into the hospital actually because it was still COVID-y.
Okay.
So I remember getting out as quick as I could at a hospital.
Yeah.
So the first time the 2 older boys met Billy was at home. So I got that on camera and I love seeing that.
Isn't it so beautiful that we have those moments? Like, there's the things that, you know, I think about with my 2 sisters.
Yeah, totally.
And that moment happened, but it's not there.
I know. But in saying that, do you do anything with all those pictures and videos? Do you put them safe somewhere on a drive?
No.
See, I don't.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, we actually put too much emphasis and trust into the phone. I know when we lose the phone, which I have done numerous times, things are up there somewhere. But sometimes they don't all come back. I don't know. I'm missing chunks of things along the way. So I need to be better at actually putting things in a safe place off the phone.
There's sometimes where there's something that you might have and something happens where you realise, okay, that actually like is important. And
yes.
it's to nearly have the trigger to do something with it. It happened to me. A friend of mine in 2FM passed away a few years ago, Alan McQuillan. And he was a young guy and we were like, he was a great friend and we were always voice noting each other.
Yeah.
And I remember a few months after he died, listening back to voice notes because I was like, I love the sound of his voice. And then I was like,
what do I do with that?
shit, like, what happens if I lose
Yeah, I don't want to
these?
lose it.
So I actually there and then said, I am downloading these and I'm putting them somewhere so I have them and that they're safe.
And did you do that?
I did.
And where? Look at me. Where can I put things
in the
safe?
cloud, but like I have them like.
So no matter if you lose your phone or
it's
it falls
always
down
there.
the toilet, it'll be there.
Now listen, I don't know. Someone could.
Someone
could cut the wrong cable and then it's all gone
to the cloud?
Yeah.
No, you're so right though, and it's things like that, isn't it? You take for granted voice notes of people, and like my mum has passed away 10 years actually this week.
Is it 10 years?
10 years. And because the phone wouldn't have been, obviously I had a phone then, but I wouldn't have had voice notes from her or anything like that. Or like when you leave someone a voice mail, they didn't stay.
Yes.
Actually, I don't even know if you probably, did we have WhatsApp 10 years ago?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Things like that I wouldn't have. So you're so right. Like the importance of having people's voice, like Brian's granny, Josie, for example, passed away a couple of years ago and she was like an amazing age, 94. But they have so many videos and voice notes and stuff like that, whereas I don't.
Yes.
So I think it's so important to save things, not only cherish them, but, you know, save them.
And do something with them.
Do something with the things on your phone. Yeah,
exactly. Do you have like, I mean, you probably have photos and videos of your mum.
I have pictures, but I actually don't have many. I don't have many videos.
Okay.
Like, I think if it had been, like, things can change so much in 10 years. Like, I wasn't doing Instagram stories. I wasn't doing as much as I do now. It's funny how the trends change. Like, I would have had snippets that I would have taken on my phone, but not like, you know, every day now we're all taking videos of each other.
Yes.
So I definitely wish that I had more of that.
Okay.
I've pictures and stuff from back in the day, but pictures that would have belonged to family members that I've printed and stuff. But yeah, a few on my phone.
Okay.
But things would have, again, gotten wiped. There's loads that I'm missing. So note to anyone listening, definitely do print things.
Find the stuff that means the most to you.
Or do you know, like our grannies were great at putting things into albums.
Yeah.
So I was only thinking that recently. I want to do like an album for each of my boys.
Yeah.
And you know, like the sticky back ones, and you just put the pictures in. Because I just think that would be so nice.
Did you know there probably is some form of an app as well that could like help us with this? If anyone's listening and you know of a good app that could help us.
Someone help?
Yeah, organise.
There's definitely loads, and they can nearly make the photo albums. For you through the app.
Exactly, just to sift through, like, because the problem is there's so much there, it's nearly hard to know, oh Jesus, where do I start here?
It's like overwhelming.
Yes.
God, how many pictures do I have in my phone? I think this is a lot. I have 77,000. 300 and something.
Like, where do you even start there?
I know.
You'd actually need to like put a month aside just to start from the beginning.
That's insane, isn't it?
It's mad. It's absolutely mad. I'd love to get into the good, the bad and the ugly here now. So this is where we just talk about, you know, your favourite phone calls, the worst phone calls you've ever received, anything like that. So I want to start off, what's the best phone call you can ever remember receiving?
Receiving. I remember like when we were young, when Brian and I would have first got together, I remember him ringing me when I was in my car driving down the Nace Road. And I remember ringing me saying that we got our mortgage for our first house. That's a kind of a vivid memory, phone call wise. And it being such a big deal because obviously that's such a hard task, especially for the first time.
It's funny as well, isn't it, with the mortgage where, you know, you could be married, you could be engaged, you could be whatever, but there's something about like the signing a contract for a mortgage. It feels like, okay, this is for real here.
Totally.
You know, it's actually a really nice thing to go, we're committing to this.
Grown up, first of all.
Yeah.
And I think because we were both self-employed, we kind of thought, oh, there's no way.
It was tough.
We'll get one. Listen, we all know how hard it is, especially when you're self-employed, and to have two of you kind of in the same, what's the word? Rocky industry, like nothing was the same every month wage wise. So like that was such a big deal at the time. So I remember that being a huge memory.
Okay, lovely. What is the best phone call you've ever got to make?
Oh, I remember the excitement of getting engaged. I was doing panto at the time. I was the fairy in
Lovely.
Cinderella. And it was Alan Hughes and Carl's panto in the Tivoli. And I remember it being wild weather. It was snowing that year. It was Christmas, and I had like literally one day off.
Yeah.
And on that day, Brian brought me out to Power Escort, and we got engaged. And I was so surprised because I was so up to my eyes with the panto.
Yeah.
So I genuinely was really shocked. And I remember ringing my mum, and she was just so delighted.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yeah, so I remember that being like a really, again, memorable phone call. There's definitely snippets like that. You're like, yeah, I remember that moment. Or, things like, I remember ringing my sister to say I was pregnant. Those kind of things are lovely memories.
And the funny thing is, actually, when it comes to a phone call as well, it's nearly nice because you're not going to be recording a phone call.
Yeah.
You just make it so it has to exist as a memory.
Yeah,
There's no other way it's going to
totally.
exist, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes you can nearly get too caught up in I need to have this moment saved forever, whereas actually maybe it's better
Exactly.
just in our heads.
Yeah, I know. And especially then, 10 plus years ago, you weren't thinking of capturing a moment like that. Whereas now you're probably nearly setting up a phone to capture something else on the phone,
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever received a phone call that really made your stomach drop?
Oh, gosh. Well, loads when it comes to business. My stomach is dropping all the time.
Okay.
It's like, oh, that's wrong. Or we've got the wrong shipment of that in. Or we've received 40 pallets of the wrong thing.
Oh,
or,
no.
Loads of stuff like that work-wise over the years. Oh, my God. Like, that might be another book. Things that
Okay.
go wrong in business that no one knows, So many F-ups along the way.
Just to stick with that for a second, for anyone who is running a business or who's starting out in business, what would be your advice to them when the shit hits the fan?
Just remember that this moment will pass and it will not matter in 5 years' time.
Okay.
But when you're in the thick of it and something really in that moment, big and bad happens, it really does take a lot to kind of pull yourself up and go, no, we'll get through it. It's fine.
Okay.
But like we've had some disasters that have come to me through the phone.
Really?
And it's just like, fuck.
Any of them that you'd be willing to share?
Literally like, oh God. I remember back in the day with Poco, my fashion brand, we're 8 years old now next month. I remember doing a pre-order.
Yeah.
Which still kind of gives me anxiety because I hate pre-selling things that aren't physically in the country because I just don't like doing that anymore. So, for example, if you knew your shipment was leaving on X date, you might pre-sell it. So that's a pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the day, I remember there was obviously such a demand for whatever style of jeans, and we pre-sold them maybe like a week in advance, and then this shipment coming, and literally we could have had like 20, 30 pallets, like thousands of pairs of jeans, and them just all being wrong, and we had sold them all. So yeah, like that stuff like that's shit.
Okay.
You have to go back to every single customer, apologise, refund them, and the task of that is huge as well. It's not like just clicking a button and you've reimbursed thousands of people. It's like manually one by one. So things like that would take days, and the customer service level of that.
Yeah.
Then you're trying to protect your brand.
Yeah.
So you're like, fuck, what does this mean for us now?
Yeah.
Will these people come back? So loads.
Okay.
That's just one little snippet. But can you imagine?
Oh,
like,
wow.
Not ideal.
I don't know if I'd be able to.
So I
be able
tend not to do things like that anymore. But they're all things that you learn as you go, and that's what makes you. And I have gained the most amount of lessons from the things that have gone wrong, and that's the truth.
Okay.
I don't learn from things that go right.
Yeah.
Then
Okay.
it's like it's easy.
Yeah.
So the things that have gone wrong, that's really taught me what to do differently the next time.
Wow. Okay. That is a very kind of, as a business person, I'd imagine that's quite solid advice for anyone.
And people always kind of go, oh, I can't do that. What if I fail? Like things that haven't worked out for me business-wise have been the biggest blessing because it really has made me go, well, I won't do that the next time. I'll do this.
Mm-hmm.
So as cheesy as it might sound, I don't think of anything as a failure really in the long term.
It's like, a step along the
it's like,
way.
What have I learned? And then it makes me stronger. It makes me more resilient.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me more capable for the next hurdle that I'm going to face, because you're always going to face hurdles in business. There's always things that are going to go wrong.
Then just in terms of that idea of a phone call where your stomach really dropped, you know, anything personally where that's ever happened?
Well, I heard about my mum's passing through my phone. So my uncle would have made that phone call. I often think the person making a phone call like that must have been even, God, just as bad, if not worse for them.
Okay.
But like that was pretty horrendous.
Were you in the country at the time?
I was living in Meath. Myself and Brian lived in Meath at the time. And Ollie was only a few months old. My eldest, he's now 11. So no, sorry, because she's 10 years gone now. He was just turned 1.
Okay.
So it was just after his first birthday.
And you're still in kind of the madness of all of that as well, you know?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I often think that I nearly forget Ollie's first to second year.
Okay.
Do you know, I always say to Brian, thank God for you at the time, because I don't really remember it. It was like a weird, hazy year.
Yeah.
You know, because it was such a shock as well. It was, you know, something that we were not expecting.
Yeah.
So to get a phone call like that, your whole body just goes into this like shock, autopilot mode, weird feeling.
For anyone who like would be dealing with grief, you know, and it's not to say that it ever goes away. I mean, you're 10 years down the line, but
it's weird. I don't think it does. Like some months and years that pass, you're actually okay. And then like now that it's 10 years, it feels like it's like such a milestone. You kind of feel as sad as I did back at year 1, because you think, God, that's been a whole decade. Like it's a weird feeling.
Okay.
And it's like the memory of that person is just getting further away. So that's sad.
Okay. Yeah. Does it?
So I don't know if I have any advice to answer your question.
But that's the thing. You know,
I think it's to feel the moment and to not try and resist it and not try and go, oh, it's been 3 years, so I should be okay. You know, you might feel okay 3 years on, and then you could feel like back at square one 10 years. I think you just have to go with it and be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
I always think you have to go easy on yourself and give yourself credit for what's happened.
Yeah.
And I think depending on how someone has passed away as well, you know, if something has been a shock, you may not have dealt with that in the first few years. So it's all a big up and down
roller
mix
coaster
of emotions. Yeah.
Is it nice looking back now, knowing that your mum, like, you know, she got to be a granny for a year?
Yeah, totally. And my sister had an older boy as well. So I'm very thankful that she got to spend time with them. She was obviously obsessed with them, like all grannies.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I think now that she'd absolutely love, obviously, to see all the grandkids, and Billy now having his birthday soon. And I think, you know, a real roller coaster of emotions. And I think sometimes when someone's gone, that really emphasizes the happy times more. It's not just when things are sad that make you sad. It's like when something happy happens, like the birth of a baby or something cool happening in business, that actually can really make me feel sad as well.
Because you long for them to be here to share in it.
Totally. And I feel bad for her. You know, you feel bad for that person for missing those moments.
Would you say your mum was a big kind of inspiration in terms of your success?
Oh, totally. Yeah. She was always very encouraging. Again, back to the phone. I used to model on like breakfast TV, going in early into Ballymount, 6 a.m, doing my few little hours there showing the outfits or whatever, and I'd be up there a lot, like early mornings. And the first person to always text me would be my mum saying, love that outfit, love that look, or wasn't mad on that dress, but you look gorgeous, obviously. You know, she'd say things like that. Or I might text her and say, I got that modelling job. She'd, like a real Irish mammy, she'd say, of course you did. You know, she'd never be like, oh my God, that's unbelievable, amazing. She'd always say, obviously.
I knew you were going to get it.
I knew you would.
Yeah.
So she was very, very supportive, but very much like, of course you are.
Yeah.
You know, so when anything cool happened work-wise and I told her, she was very calm and very, of course.
Yeah,
you know.
That's gorgeous. Thank you for sharing all of that about your mum.
No problem. I'm glad I didn't cry.
And I know that's the thing, and I don't want to, you know, but it's one of those things where, you know, it's
But there you go, like 10 years on and you still, obviously, I think it could be 20, 30 years on, you'll still get emotional by things. And you know the way sometimes as well, what can get me is if I'm not ready for it. So sometimes I could be out and about and something would happen, or random stuff like you'd hear a song or you get a whiff of someone's Chanel No. 5 and that would literally make me go, like it catches me off guard.
Isn't it crazy the way there are like triggers for memories?
Oh my God, totally.
And how it can just bring you back to a place or a time or to a person.
Totally. Or as I said, this time of year, like October, the colour of the leaves, the orange and the red and the way they're all over the ground at the moment. That just reminds me of that week. It's like, and you know, the way this week in particular, it's starting to get cold. That reminds me of the week that she died. It's a weird thing of the certain moments that get you. Or I've been in shops and women will say to me, I knew your mum. And I'm there like picking up a few bits for dinner and I'm like standing there crying because I'm not ready for it.
Yes.
So I'm good at kind of prepping myself for something if I know it's coming.
Yeah.
But when things catch me off guard, I can be like,
okay,
wasn't ready for that.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't catch you off guard. That's the main thing.
Well, I was thinking about, before I came here, I was thinking about the phone and I was thinking, would you ask me, you know, certain things like that. So, and because it's our anniversary this week, I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
So I'm probably more prepared.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I didn't cry on your podcast.
No, thank you for sharing that about your lovely mum.
No problem.
I'd love to know, has your phone ever saved the day for you?
Yeah, like, I've broken down, you know, side of the road, flat tire, or over the years, not so much anymore because Brian keeps an eye on it. Another thing, he slags me over. I hate putting petrol in my car. Like,
God, sorry, this is again.
Are
like
we the
me
same
and
person?
No, this is like, I'm like Brian in this situation where Ash goes, oh, would you run down and get something? And I jump into her car. And when I say the thing is on fumes.
Oh yeah, like, but it's such a waste of time. The smell, the having to touch the thing and it could go on your clothes. I just hate it.
Yeah.
So I will avoid that task at all costs. So I've one of those hybrid now. So I don't really tend to be on the nothing because he might. Oh no, by the way, I wouldn't be plugging it in at home either. As easy as it is to like put same with my phone. I only charge my phone if I have to.
Yeah.
So I don't plug the car in, only if it's a necessity. So Brian, when he passes, he'll be like, "Jeez, she hasn't plugged the bloody car in again." So he'll plug the car in for me. But over the years, like I'd be driving all around the country in my Punto and I'd be, you know, you wouldn't get as much warning then.
Okay. Yeah.
The car just like flat, dead, gone. So I'd be like ringing Brian back in the day, being like, can you help me or come and get me? He'd be like, "Baby, you fucking idiot. I told you to fill your car up." I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I forgot. Sure. Forgot."
Have you ever had to make like a really awkward phone call? I remember you talking before about how you had a moment where you got a modelling job. Or no, I think it's the face of a brand.
Oh, yeah.
And then they found out you were pregnant.
Yeah, with Ollie.
I'd love to know, how did that whole thing, how did that whole interaction happen? This is more you receiving an awkward phone call.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That would have been through a phone call. That's awkward when you think you have a gig and then you're called to say, well, actually, they're going in a different direction. You're like, that is such bullshit, but okay.
Yeah.
There's been loads of awkward calls made to me for not getting jobs, thinking that you're going to get certain jobs off the back of things and not, and your agent ringing to say they've gone with Mary instead of you. So I've been on the receiving end of loads of letdowns and awkward moments. But once you get rejected a few times, you kind of get used to it. It's like not so awkward anymore. When I look back now and think of all the gigs that I was trying to get and all the jobs that I wanted and agents that I wanted to work with and, things that I wanted to do. And, 80% of them didn't happen, but a good 20% did. But that really toughened me up and helped me in what I'm doing today.
Yeah.
Because it does. It kind of builds you up. It builds your resilience. It makes you more confident. It makes you able to deal with things as well. I'd worry for my boys' generation. Like, are they going to be as good at dealing with rejections and letdowns as well as we were? But I think, 20 years ago, an agent wouldn't have had a problem saying to me, you didn't get the job because you're overweight. You were, not that it's right to speak to someone like that, but
that's how it was.
That's how it was. And that's how you were spoken to. Not that I would want my kids to experience that, but that there's a fine line, isn't there?
Yes.
But that has definitely molded me into what I am now, I suppose.
I've taken so much of your time, so I'm just going to do
I'm loving it.
a couple of little quick fire questions now for you. So I'd love to know, who is your most called person on the phone? I think I know who it's going to be.
My husband, Brian.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we work together as well. It's like constant. And when I say we work together, people think like we're beside each other in the office every day. We're not. We could be doing very different things. I could be on a shoot. He could be at a factory, like whatever. So we're on the phone to each other constantly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that hard to create the separation between like
Yes.
business partners and
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it is, but it's our norm. We're doing it so long now.
Yeah.
It can. Yeah, but all we talk about is work and kids.
But and like, let's say you're at home and you're having dinner with the kids. Like, do you have to stop yourself talking shop?
Yeah.
Okay.
But we still do.
Okay. Yeah.
Try and make an effort not to. But oh yeah, totally. We'd still, because the phones would still be going and
Yeah.
someone would be ringing someone, or we're dealing with manufacturers in South Korea and, people on different timelines. So it's not, I can't just 6 o'clock, bye.
Yes.
Or things wouldn't get done.
Okay.
So
You have to deal with it.
yeah, and I feel like it's important that I say things like that, because people would always say, oh, how do you have such a perfect work-life balance? I'm like, I absolutely don't. And I'm sorry if I've portrayed that, because that is not the truth.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
That's not how it goes. I'm doing it now so I can chill-ish when I'm 50.
Yeah.
Probably
okay.
not. Probably have more on when I'm 50.
And a long way off.
A
long way off.
Do you know what, Carl? It's so long away.
I've learned from earlier on. What is the last message you sent? Not for you to read it out or anything like that, but
Well,
just
let
what
me
was
see
it?
if it's decent. I will. Oh, to my hairdresser Tracy, telling, going back saying, responding to her saying that I can be in for my freshen up. I said to her, I badly need a freshen up and a few tapes repositioned, and then I have ... but not the full works, and a laughing face. She knows what that means.
Okay.
So that was the last person I text. And then before then, was Una, who's making birthday cake for Ollie. I'm telling her, for Billy. And she's saying, what kind of cake does he want? And I said, he wants a Paw Patrol digger cake and
Brilliant.
a laughing face. I don't know how you do
Is
both.
this Una from 2210?
Yeah.
She's unbelievable. She did a cake for Davey for his 3rd birthday, and it was the same thing.
Did you want Paw Patrol digger?
It wasn't Paw Patrol, but it was where the brief was extremely loose.
It's like different
Yeah.
things happening at once. Because I said to her, you probably can't do Paw Patrol / digger. And she said, of course we can. We can do a Paw Patrol digger cake. And I said, great. Paw Patrol digger it is.
Yeah.
And a laughing face.
Our brief was he wanted a chocolate cake with rainbow sprinkles.
Aww.
And we got a chocolate cake with rainbow sprinkles.
Of course he
So
did.
yeah, it was. She's incredible. She's
So
an
good.
artist. Yeah.
She is.
What is the last thing you had to Google?
I had a pain in my toe the other day, like this, like numbing. And I Googled, what does numbing in your toes mean? I was like, am I dying?
What was the answer? Are you?
Oh, it could be anything. It could be, you've 2 weeks to live, or your shoe was too tight. Like,
Imagine that as an exclusive. Oh yes, I'm dying. I'm just letting you know here. It
Yeah.
started in my toe.
numbing in my toe. Don't know.
Okay.
If anyone's listening and they have an answer that's bad, I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. Don't tell us. Yeah.
What does numbing in the toe mean?
Who is the most famous person in your phone book?
Oh gosh. Louis Walsh.
Go on, Louis. Louis a great one to have.
Is he's classed as famous?
Yeah. Louis is...
I'm joking, Louis. Of course you are.
We have a weird thing in Ireland though with fame.
Well, if they're Irish and famous, you nearly, like, you wouldn't say it, you'd be too embarrassed.
Well, genuinely, because I honestly think if Bono was walking down the road,
I don't have Bono's phone number.
you'd be kind of looking at him going like, oh, there's Bono, but I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of knowing.
Oh, I know.
That I
but
know
Irish
it's him.
people are great like that, aren't they? Like,
Very much so. And then the last question for you, is there anything you've learned about yourself through your phone?
yes, that I am a mess. Do other people have like folders and it's like they have like banking in one, social media in one, music in one. I'm like, what the hell is that? Mine's just like a big bleh.
Yeah.
Everything's just like everywhere.
Organised
A
chaos.
load of kids' apps amongst like the banking apps, and no, it's all a mess.
Yeah.
So it's made me realise that I'm very unorganised.
That's good, but it's still working for you. That's the main thing.
Is it, Carl?
Yeah. Pippa, thank you so much just for
Thank
being
you.
like, it was so interesting, but also just for being so giving and
Oh, thank
chatting
you.
about your
Thank
personal
you for
and your
having me.
professional life. So thank you
Such
so
a pleasure.
much.
Thanks a mil.
Phone Truths is brought to you by Sky Mobile, and it's mobile you can expect more from. So are you tired of paying for more and getting less? Well, y'all know more, because in a world of less, Sky Mobile is here and you really can expect more from them. You really, really can. So you can actually pay a lot less, because with Sky Mobile, you get all of your data, texts and calls for just €15 a month for life. It's all the Instagram you can scroll, all the friends you can WhatsApp, and all the family who listen to you, all just for €15 a month. So don't settle for less. Expect more with Sky Mobile.